His lips were fire on my skin. I couldn't breathe, and yet I didn't want him to stop. His strong brown hands explored my body like he was trying to memorize it. Every curve, every shiver, every soft moan that escaped me. The motel room on the edge of Augusta, Georgia, smelled like cheap cologne, heat, and something forbidden. I arched under him, the headboard hitting the wall softly with every stroke. My legs wrapped around him like they had a mind of their own. I whispered his name, Jordan, and bit down on his shoulder, not caring if I left a mark. He wasn't my husband. And yet, in that moment, it felt like he was the only man who had ever truly touched me. Jordan, 6 feet 3 inches, dark skin, tattoos crawling up his muscular arms, beard always neat, eyes like a storm, dangerous and deep. He smelled like cedar wood and sin. We moved together like our bodies were made for this, for each other. My nails dug into his back. He moaned, deep, masculine, and kissed me so hard I forgot who I was. Or maybe I didn't want to remember. I came undone in his arms. Then, silence. Not awkward, not shameful, just the quiet after an earthquake. Vault Seekers, if that opening shook you even a little, hit that like button like it's your last chance. Subscribe to Top Stories Vault so you never miss another forbidden thrill. Comment below, have you ever loved someone who wasn't yours? And turn that notification bell on because the next chapter, you won't be ready. Let's get back to the story. My name is Tasha Hill. I'm 32. A black woman from Augusta, Georgia. I'm married to a good man. No, scratch that. A great man. Marcus Hill is what you call a provider. Tall, clean-shaven, caramel complexion, eyes like honey, and a smile so warm it melts your bad day away. He's worked at the same auto repair shop for 10 years and never complains. We live in a quiet suburban neighborhood just off Barton Chapel Road. 2 cars, a nice little 3-bedroom house with blue shutters, and a backyard big enough for our dog, Kobe, to run wild. I'm a nurse. Been one for 8 years now, the kind of woman who puts sticky notes on lunchboxes and sings in the shower. People call me sweet, gentle. I laugh a lot. Too much, probably. So how did I end up in a motel bed with another man? That question keeps me up at night. Marcus and I met at a friend's BBQ when I was 23. He said, "You smile like sunshine, girl." And I never forgot it. He wasn't flashy, wasn't the loudest in the room. Just dependable, steady. He worked 2 jobs so I could finish nursing school. Bought me a ring with all the savings he had. I wore that ring like it was the crown of a queen. And for a while, I was a queen. Loved, cared for, safe. But safety has a quiet way of turning into silence. It started slow, like most heartbreaks do. Conversations turned into checklists. Pick up milk. Turn off the porch light. You got the bills this week? We were more like roommates raising a dog than 2 people who once couldn't keep their hands off each other. Sex became scheduled. Birthday, anniversary. We haven't in a while. Sex. You know the kind? The kind that makes you wish for passion again, makes you crave it. Still, I stayed loyal. Because that's what you do, right? You stay, you work harder, you pray, you tell yourself it's just a season. And it was, until Jordan walked into my world. I met him at the hospital. EMT. New to Augusta from Atlanta, one of those men who didn't need to talk loud to be noticed. He walked like he knew exactly where he was going, smiled like he knew you'd be watching. And when he spoke, God. His voice was velvet and gravel. "Ms. Hill," he said the first day, handing off a patient, "you always smile like that?" I laughed, flustered. Like what? Like you hiding a secret. I didn't know what to say, but I smiled anyway. Weeks went by. Every shift he brought in patients, and every time he found a way to talk to me. Not in a creepy way, just intentional, like he saw me. Not just my name badge, not just my scrubs. Me, and I started looking forward to it. To him. The way his cologne lingered in the hallway, the way he asked me how I was really doing, the way he made me feel like I still had fire in me. One afternoon he brought me coffee. "Don't worry," he said, "I watched him make it." No drugs. I laughed, too long, too loud. And that's when I realized I hadn't laughed like that in months. I told myself it was harmless. It wasn't. Because you don't dream about harmless things. You don't replay harmless voices in the shower. You don't put on extra perfume for harmless men. You don't start lying for harmless. Marcus didn't notice at first. He was busy with work, saving for a cruise we'd never take. He kissed me like always. Held me like always. But I was slipping. Quietly. Guilt was already digging into my skin, but the thrill of being seen, of being desired again, it was louder. I kept telling myself I'd never cheat. Until I did. Until I did. But that's a story for another chapter. For now, let me say this. Cheating doesn't always start with touching. Sometimes it starts with a smile, a coffee, a laugh. And sometimes the person you're cheating on the most is yourself. I couldn't kill, continuing the emotional and sensual journey from Tasha's point of view. I stared at the mirror longer than usual that morning. The bathroom light was soft, casting a golden glow on my brown skin. My curls were wrapped up in a satin bonnet, and my eyes were tired. But under that, I still saw her, the woman I used to be. I ran my fingers down my cheek like I was trying to remember her. Not the nurse, not the wife. Me. Marcus was already gone, early shift again. He'd left a note on the fridge like always. Have a good day, babe. Eggs in the microwave. Love you. I whispered it aloud. Love you. But my lips didn't believe it. I didn't touch the eggs. At the hospital, the air smelled like bleach and early regret. Patients already lining the hallway. I slipped into my role like a coat, nurse, kind, professional, calm. But inside, I was all knots and noise. Jordan walked in around noon, pushing a gurney with a middle-aged man gripping his chest. Chest pain, he said, his voice a steady rumble. BP's high. History of heart disease. I nodded, taking over. We worked like clockwork. No time for smiles, no time for flirting, just the rush of saving someone's life. But when the adrenaline settled and the man was stable, Jordan leaned on the wall and looked at me. You okay? He asked quietly. It was the first time someone asked me that all day. I nodded. Lied. Yeah. He didn't push. He just nodded back, eyes not leaving mine. I'm around if you ever want to not be okay for a minute. And that was the problem with Jordan. He knew exactly what I needed before I did. After shift, I didn't drive home. I parked near the Riverwalk downtown, right where the city kissed the Savannah River. The water was still. Birds circled above like they had nothing to do but glide. And me? I just sat there, my phone buzzing with Marcus's texts. Home soon? Dinner or takeout? I replied. Sorry, late charting. Love you. Another lie. I sat there until the sun dipped low and the sky bruised purple. A tap on my window startled me. Jordan. He leaned down, grinning. You stalking me? I rolled down the window, heart racing. Shouldn't you be home? I could ask you the same thing. He opened my door without asking and got in. His presence filled the car, his cologne, his heat, his confidence. I should have told him to get out. I didn't. We didn't kiss. We didn't touch. We just sat there. Two people pretending they weren't on the edge of something dangerous. I told him about my mother's stroke last year, about how Marcus works so much we don't talk like we used to, about how I sometimes feel invisible. He listened like every word mattered. And then, without asking, he took my hand. His fingers were calloused, warm. It wasn't sexual. It was intimate. I see you, Tasha, he said. Something in me broke open. At home, Marcus was plating spaghetti. The house smelled like garlic bread and effort. Thought you'd be starving, he said. You good? I smiled, kissed his cheek. Yeah, just a long day. We sat, ate, talked about the news. He rubbed my feet while we watched a show I forgot the name of. He was trying, I could tell, and I hated how numb I felt. He still looked at me like I was everything, but I had started to feel like nothing. Over the next week, Jordan and I talked more. Nothing too wild, just long glances, texts about songs we liked, memes, one video call while I sat in my parked car during lunch break. You always smile like that when you talk to me? He asked during the call. Like what? Like you're scared to smile. Maybe I was, because every time he looked at me, I wanted more, and I hated myself for it. Friday night, Marcus brought home a bottle of wine and a rented movie. Let's have a U.S. night, he said. Like old times. We tried, we kissed, we undressed slowly. His hands were gentle, his touch familiar, but my body felt like a locked door. He whispered, You okay? I nodded, let him keep going. But my mind wasn't there. My body responded out of habit, not hunger. And when we were done and he fell asleep next to me, I lay awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, aching for something I couldn't name. That was the night I realized something scary. I had stopped feeling at home in my own marriage. The next morning, I met Jordan for coffee downtown. I told myself it was innocent, that we were just friends. But I wore lipstick. I wore the tight jeans Marcus liked. And when Jordan leaned in to whisper something funny, his lips brushed my cheek, and I didn't pull away. My heart slammed in my chest. It was just a moment. But it felt like a doorway had opened, and I stepped closer to it. One evening, Marcus and I were folding laundry in the bedroom. He held up a white blouse I hadn't worn in months. You wore this the other day, right? Yeah. You looked fine as hell, he said, smiling. I smiled back, guilt heavy in my chest, because I had worn that blouse to meet Jordan, and Jordan had told me the same thing. That night, I sat in bed with my phone under the sheets, texting, laughing, while Marcus slept next to me. I'd become someone I didn't recognize. But worse, I liked how I felt when I wasn't her. Before I end this chapter, I want to say this. You don't wake up one day and decide to ruin everything. It's a slow slide, a look, a touch, a secret you tell someone that should have been for your partner, a feeling you don't run from soon enough. People think cheating is just sex. They don't know it starts way earlier than that. And I was already deep in it. Even if my body hadn't crossed the line yet, my heart had. It was raining the night I let it happen. Not a thunderstorm, just a soft, steady downpour that turned the streets of Augusta, Georgia, into glistening black rivers. The kind of rain that made everything feel slow, secret, quiet. I had stayed late again, another shift that ended well past 10. Marcus had texted me, "Be safe. I'll leave the porch light on. Love you." I stared at it for a full minute before typing back, "Love you too." Another lie, dressed up as routine. I didn't go home. Jordan had texted earlier, "You still owe me that drink." I didn't owe him anything, but I wanted to give him everything. He was waiting outside a little lounge near Broad Street. Not too fancy, but quiet. Private. His white button-down was rolled at the sleeves, exposing strong brown forearms I'd been thinking about for days. The rain slicked the sidewalk and shimmered in the streetlights. He held the door open and I stepped inside without a word. We sat in a back booth. The music was soft, jazz, something smooth. I ordered wine, he got bourbon, we talked. About work, about childhood, about nothing. But under it all, a pulse throbbed between us. He leaned closer. "Why do you always look like you're holding your breath?" I didn't answer, because I didn't know how to tell him that my whole life felt like waiting for permission to exhale. He brushed a stray curl from my face. His fingers lingered, and that was it. The line, the one I'd tiptoed for weeks, shattered like glass. We didn't speak, we just moved. His place was 15 minutes away, a clean condo with big windows and gray furniture. Rain tapped on the glass like it was watching. He locked the door behind us. I stood in the living room, breath shallow, heart hammering. "Are you sure?" he asked, voice low. I nodded. I was already too far gone to lie. He kissed me, slow, deep, searching. And then he touched me like he had all the time in the world. I hadn't felt wanted like that in years. Not needed. Wanted. Clothes disappeared without panic, without guilt, like we'd been here 1,000 times in another life. His lips traced my collarbone. His hands explored curves I'd long forgotten were beautiful. He lifted me like I weighed nothing and carried me to his bed. When he entered me, I didn't think about Marcus. I didn't think at all. I just felt. Every thrust, every kiss, every moan I couldn't silence. I came twice. Once quietly, like I was afraid the world would hear me. Then again, louder, his name breaking from my lips like confession. And when we collapsed, sweaty and breathless, I didn't cry. I didn't feel shame. I felt alive. We lay there after, the silence thick. He kissed my shoulder. "You okay?" I turned to him. "I don't know." He didn't push. He just held me like he wanted to protect me from the whole damn world. I got home just after 2 a.m. The porch light was still on. Marcus was asleep on the couch, TV glowing soft blues across his face. He looked peaceful, safe, loyal. I froze in the doorway, soaked in the scent of another man. He stirred. "Hey, you good? You're late." I nodded. My voice caught in my throat. Yeah, sorry, just tired. He stood, stretched, kissed my forehead. Let's get you to bed. He led me to our bedroom and pulled the covers back for me like he always did. I lay beside him, wide awake, while he fell back into sleep. And in that moment, I hated myself more than I ever had, because I had just cheated on a man who never gave me a reason to. The next morning, Marcus made pancakes, smiling, humming, asking if I wanted strawberries on top. I said yes. I forced the fork into my mouth. The sweetness made me sick. At work, I couldn't look Jordan in the eye, not because of what we'd done, but because I wanted to do it again. And when our hands brushed in the break room, my body lit up like a struck match. He leaned close. You okay? I don't know, I whispered. He smiled, sad and knowing. Neither do I. The days blurred. At home, I played the role. Wife, nurse, normal. But I was unraveling. Marcus bought flowers. He planned a weekend trip to Charleston. He said, You've been working too hard, baby. Let me take care of you. I nodded, agreed. But I knew I wouldn't go, because I had already built a secret room inside myself where only Jordan existed. And every time Marcus kissed me, it felt like a lie he didn't know he was telling. One night, Jordan called, while I was folding laundry in the bedroom. I picked up, heart thudding. He didn't say hello, he just said, I miss you. And I whispered back, me too. I slipped out to the balcony and stayed on the call for nearly an hour, listening to him talk about childhood dreams and favorite foods, while my husband watched TV in the next room. Every second was a betrayal, but I didn't hang up. Not once. 3 weeks passed. 3 more nights like the first. All in secret, all after work. He made love to me like he was discovering something new every time. And I let him. Because I needed to feel like more than a routine. More than a safe choice. More than someone's good wife. With Jordan, I was dangerous, desirable, alive. But guilt doesn't stay quiet forever. One night, as I lay in Jordan's bed, tangled in his arms, I looked up at the ceiling and whispered, Do you ever feel like we're going to burn in hell for this? He exhaled. Maybe, but if this is hell, I don't want heaven. His answer scared me, because I was starting to feel the same. And then, one evening, Marcus handed me his phone. Can you check the GPS real quick? I think I typed in the wrong address. I took it, and before I could switch screens, a message popped up. From me. I missed the way you kissed me last night. I froze. He blinked. What's that? I dropped the phone. Nothing, it's just... He picked it up, read it. And just like that. The whole house fell silent. His face changed. His chest rose once, twice. Then he whispered the words that broke everything. Tasha? Who is he? Tasha? Who is he? Marcus's voice didn't rise. He didn't scream. He didn't throw the phone or punch the wall like I might have expected a man to do after seeing a message like that. He just stood there, still, steady, waiting. And that hurt worse than if he'd lost control, because I could see the pain already swimming in his eyes. The confusion, the heartbreak, the disbelief, all of it. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. Tasha, he said again, softer this time. Who is he? I dropped to the couch like my legs couldn't hold me anymore. It's not what you think. That was a lie, and I think we both knew it. Then what is it? He asked, slowly walking toward me, phone still in his hand. Tell me. Make it make sense. I buried my face in my palms. It took everything in me to say it. Jordan. His breath caught in his throat. Jordan? He echoed. Jordan from your job? I nodded. He looked down like someone had just punched him in the stomach. That man's been in my house. I know, I whispered. He's eaten my food, watched my TV, sat on this damn couch. I know. Did you sleep with him? His voice cracked. I didn't speak. Tasha, answer me. Did you sleep with him? Yes. He didn't move, didn't blink. He just turned away, walked into the kitchen, and leaned against the sink with both hands gripping the counter like it was the only thing holding him up. I thought we were good, he said. His back was still turned. I thought maybe you were just stressed. Maybe I needed to step up more. You're a good man, Marcus. Then why'd you do it? He asked, spinning to face me now, his eyes red, glossy, broken. Why, Tasha? What did I do? I shook my head. It's not about you. It never was. His voice rose, not loud but fierce. Then what the hell is it about? I didn't have an answer. I was crying now. Quiet sobs that felt like they were choking me from the inside out. He walked past me toward the bedroom, slammed the door. And just like that, the silence was worse than any fight could have been. That night, I didn't sleep. I stayed on the couch, curled up with a blanket and guilt as heavy as bricks. In the morning, he was gone. No note, no goodbye. Just the sound of his absence hanging in the air like fog. Work felt like walking into fire. Jordan met me at the nurse's station, eyes searching my face. He pulled me into an empty exam room. What's wrong? I looked up at him. He knows. His whole body stiffened. Damn. He saw your message. He ran a hand over his face. What did he say? He asked me who you were. I told him. And? And now he's gone. Jordan pulled me close, but I didn't want comfort. Not now. Don't, I whispered. I can't think straight. He let me go, stepping back like he'd just realized he was part of the wreckage, too. Do you regret it? He asked quietly. I don't know. That was the truth, the worst kind of truth. I didn't regret the way Jordan made me feel, alive, desired, free, but I regretted hurting Marcus. I regretted watching him unravel because of something I chose. The following days were hollow. Marcus stayed away. He didn't respond to texts, didn't come home. I later learned he was staying with his brother on the south side of town. When he finally called, it was short. I'm coming by tomorrow to get some of my stuff. I tried to apologize. He just said, don't, and hung up. When he came, he looked thinner, tired, but still beautiful in the way only a kind man can be. He didn't pack much, just his essentials. Before he left, he turned to me. I don't hate you, he said. Tears welled in my eyes. I just don't recognize you anymore. And with that, he was gone. Jordan wanted more. After everything blew up, he started asking if we could try being a real couple. If I'd consider leaving Marcus for good, if I thought we had a future, and maybe we could have. But every time he touched me now, it felt different, like pleasure layered in pain. One night after sex that left us both breathless, he asked, You think he'll ever forgive you? I rolled over and stared at the ceiling. I don't know. I don't even know if I deserve it. He pulled me close, but I could tell, somewhere deep down, he knew this thing between us wasn't built to last. It was built to burn. My friends stopped calling. Some coworkers avoided me. The whispers at the clinic grew louder. I was no longer the sweet, loyal wife with the perfect marriage. I was the one who cheated on a good man, the one who let her desires drag her into a fire she couldn't put out. But you know what hurt most? It wasn't their judgment. It was realizing that I still missed Marcus. His laugh, his morning prayers, his way of saying, I got you, babe, even when I didn't ask. He wasn't just a good man. He was a safe place. And I burned it down for a moment of escape. One afternoon, weeks later, I saw him at a grocery store. He was coming out pushing a cart, earbuds in. He didn't see me at first, but I saw him. And for a second, I wanted to run to him, to fall to my knees and beg, but then I saw the look in his eyes when he finally did notice me. Cold, guarded, not angry, not bitter, just gone. He nodded once, a polite stranger's nod, and kept walking. And that's when I knew. Some wounds don't bleed, they just scar. That night, Jordan came over. I let him in, but I didn't let him stay. I can't do this anymore, I told him. He looked stunned. Tasha, I used you to feel something. I needed escape. But it's not love. It's not healing. It's just damage dressing up like comfort. He didn't argue. He just stood there, hands in his pockets, nodding slowly. I get it, he said, voice hoarse. I'll always care about you. I know, I whispered. He walked out of my apartment for the last time, and this time I didn't cry. I've been alone since then. I stopped wearing my ring. I stopped chasing what I thought I needed. I started going to therapy. I've had to face some hard truths about myself, my emptiness, my choices. And slowly, painfully, I'm learning how to live with it all. But one thing still haunts me: the memory of Marcus's face in that quiet moment after he read the message. The way his heart broke without a single scream. The way he let me go with dignity. Because that was love, and I destroyed it. The days were quieter now. Too quiet. I didn't realize how much noise love made until it was gone. Marcus's laughter in the kitchen, the soft hum of his gospel music in the mornings, the sound of his keys hitting the table after work. Gone. What remained was the low buzz of guilt in my ears, a kind of permanent background sound I couldn't switch off. I'd chosen desire over devotion, and even though I had finally let Jordan go, the damage had already settled in like smoke in the walls of my life. One Sunday morning, I decided to drive across town to the church Marcus and I used to attend together. I hadn't been back since the affair. I almost turned around 3 times on the way, but something in me needed to sit in that space again, to remember who I'd once been before everything spiraled. I took a seat near the back. The music started. The choir sang a song Marcus loved. He's able. I broke. Tears streamed down my face before the second verse. Not gentle ones. These were the deep, ugly cries that shake your whole body. A woman beside me passed a tissue without looking my way. Bless her. As the pastor stepped up to preach, I saw Marcus. He walked in late, like always. Still so clean. Fresh haircut, pressed slacks, and that crisp white shirt he always wore on communion Sundays. He didn't see me right away, but I saw him. I didn't know if I should stay or run. He sat 5 rows ahead. Alone. His head bowed in quiet reverence. I used to love that about him, how his faith was never performative. It was personal, real. After the service, I waited outside in the parking lot. I didn't know why. Maybe I just wanted to see if he'd acknowledge me. Maybe I wanted a chance to say what I never got to say. He came out slowly, Bible in hand, phone in the other. Our eyes met. For the first time in weeks, we locked eyes and didn't look away. He walked toward me. His face wasn't hard. It wasn't soft either, just tired. Hey, I whispered. He nodded. Hey. I didn't know you'd be here. This is still my church. I know, I sighed. I miss it. I miss a lot. He looked away for a second, then back at me. You look different. I laughed softly. I feel different. He nodded. That's probably good. Marcus, I began, my throat tightening. I'm sorry. I know that word can't fix what I broke, but I need to say it anyway. I know, he said, and I don't expect anything from you. I just needed you to hear it from me. Not from rumors, not from the grapevine, but from me. I was wrong. I messed up, and I lost the best thing I ever had. He looked at me for a long time. I thought he might cry, but he didn't. I forgave you, he said. That caught me off guard. What? I already forgave you, Tasha. I had to. Not for you, but for me. Because carrying that kind of pain turns into poison if you don't let it go. My eyes welled up again. Thank you, I whispered. He nodded. But that don't mean I can come back. I know. And that don't mean I'm not still hurt. I wouldn't expect you not to be. We stood there in silence. 2 people who once shared everything, now barely able to hold a conversation without feeling the weight of it all. I'm in therapy, I said quietly. He looked surprised. Really? Yeah. Every Thursday. I've been unpacking a lot about how I saw myself, how I saw love. It's hard, but necessary. That's good, he said. I'm proud of you for that. A long pause followed. Then I asked the question I'd been carrying for weeks. Was I ever enough for you? His face tightened with hurt. Tasha, you were more than enough. I just don't think you believed that about yourself. My heart shattered all over again. Because he was right. I chased validation in the arms of another man because I didn't know how to see my own worth through Marcus's eyes. I needed to feel chosen, adored, craved. But Marcus had already done that. I just didn't see it. Not until it was too late. He looked down at his watch. I gotta go. Okay. But I'm glad you came, he said. I needed to see that you were healing. I nodded. Take care, Marcus. You too. And then, just like that, he walked away. I didn't expect some romantic reunion. That wasn't real life. Some people don't come back even when they still love you. Sometimes love isn't enough, and that's the tragedy of it. But in that moment, watching Marcus walk away with peace on his shoulders and forgiveness in his heart, I realized something. What I did didn't have to define me. Yes, I was the woman who cheated, but I was also the woman who broke, admitted her wrong, and chose to rebuild, piece by painful piece. A few months passed. I started volunteering at a local women's shelter downtown, helping young women navigate the same emotional storms I once drowned in. One night, after a group session, one of the girls asked me, "Miss Tasha, why'd your husband leave you?" I paused, then smiled softly. "Because I broke his heart." She looked shocked. "You said that's so honest." "Because it's true," I said, "and because owning it is the only way I can heal from it." She nodded. "I wish my mom could talk like that." I put my arm around her. We all got something we wish we'd done differently. That night, I went home and wrote Marcus a letter. Not to win him back, not to reopen wounds, but just to honor what we had. Dear Marcus, I'll never forget how you loved me. Deep, quiet, steady. I didn't deserve it, but I'll always be grateful for it. I hurt you, and that truth will stay with me. But so will the lessons. If you ever find love again, I hope she sees what I couldn't. I hope she treasures it, and I hope you never lose that kind heart of yours. Thank you for everything. Tasha, I never sent the letter, but writing it helped. It helped me close a chapter without needing to rewrite it. Because sometimes forgiveness is a gift you give yourself, even when you were the one who broke the vows. 6 months later, I finally moved out of the apartment Marcus and I once shared. It took me weeks to pack, not because I had too many things, but because every item had a memory tied to it. The photo frames I never took down. The wine glass with his lipstick smudge from the night I cooked his favorite meal. The silk scarf he bought me in Atlanta during our last road trip, before everything unraveled. I didn't throw anything away. I just wrapped it all gently, placed it in boxes, and labeled each one with the grace I had now learned to give myself. This wasn't about erasing the past. It was about accepting it. And then, finally, choosing to move forward. I'd gotten a small condo across town. Nothing fancy, but it had light. Big windows. A tiny porch where I could sit with tea and think. The neighborhood was quiet, mostly older folks. Safe. Simple. I started keeping plants. I named them. Healing, I learned, doesn't come in fireworks. It comes in moments, soft, small, and faithful, like watering a fern and watching it grow, or waking up without shame for the first time in months, or smiling in the mirror and not seeing a liar or a failure, but a woman who is still here, a woman who lived through it all. One Saturday afternoon, I was at the grocery store when I saw him. Jordan. My heart didn't race. That surprised me. He looked normal, regular, like any man walking the aisles looking for frozen pizza or almond milk. He didn't glow anymore. He wasn't a fantasy. He was just a man. He saw me too. He smiled politely and gave a small wave. I nodded, tight-lipped. Not cold, but not warm either. He walked past me, and that was it. That was the moment I knew I was free. I found Marcus's name pop up one evening while I was going through my email. He had sent me a message, just a short one. Tasha, I just wanted to say, I see the work you're doing. A friend told me about your sessions at the shelter. Keep going. You're making a difference. Take care. I stared at the screen for a long time. I didn't cry. I smiled because it meant the world to me to know he saw the woman I was becoming, not just the woman who broke his heart. Vault seekers. I know this story hasn't been easy. Real pain never is. But let me say something straight from my heart. Sometimes the people we betray are the ones who taught us what love really looks like. And sometimes the biggest apology is a changed life, not just a sorry. Forgiveness doesn't always bring reconciliation, but it does bring freedom. So, wherever you are in your own story, whether you've been hurt or you've done the hurting, please know this. You can still heal, you can still grow, and you can still rise. Now, if this story touched something deep in you, don't scroll away. Vault Seekers, I need you to hit that like button to support more real-life stories like this. Subscribe to Top Stories Vault for deep, powerful narratives told without shame. And most importantly, drop a comment below. What would you have done in Tasha's shoes? Would you have confessed? Would you have left? Would you forgive if it were you? This is a safe space. Let's talk about it. Now back to the story. It was a Thursday afternoon. I was leading a small group session with 4 women who had all survived a messy, broken relationships. Some had cheated, others had been cheated on. We sat in a circle, laughing, crying, sharing. One of them asked me, "Tasha, do you think you'll ever love again?" I took a deep breath. "I think I already do." "Who?" she asked. I smiled. "Myself?" They all smiled back. "Real talk," I said, leaning in. "I chased affection for so long, thinking it would fix me, but affection without self-respect is just decoration. It doesn't hold anything together." One girl wiped her tears. "That's deep." I nodded. "I don't have all the answers. I still wake up some days with regret, but I'm learning, I'm healing, and I'm loving myself in ways I never did before." Later that night, I sat on my porch as the sun dipped low over Indianapolis. Yes, Indianapolis. That's where it all happened, where I fell apart, where I fell into temptation, and where I rose again. The Midwest isn't known for drama. But trust me, hearts break here too. I took a deep breath. In the distance, kids were laughing, someone was grilling, life was happening, and I was still part of it. Still flawed, still growing, still worthy. A fire once burned inside me, destructive, wild, out of control. But now, that fire, it didn't kill me. It refined me, and I'll carry the lessons in my chest like a brand. Not of shame, but of survival. Because love doesn't always look like romance. Sometimes love is the quiet decision to be better than the worst thing you ever did. And that's a fire I'll never let die. Now, Vault Seekers. If this story stirred your soul, if you stayed with Tasha through her highs, her lows, her fall, and her rise, please hit that like button to support raw, human stories. Subscribe to Top Stories Vault so you never miss these emotional roller coasters. And in the comments, tell me, did Tasha deserve forgiveness? Was she wrong to confess? Could you have done what Marcus did? Let's hear your truth. Until the next story, stay bold, stay real, stay seeking.